Hi everybody. Anybody that has been following my videos, you will know that I've been sharing regularly the proposal for revoking and or indefinitely pausing Article 50 until this country is governed by a humane, genuinely elected leadership, and who can be trusted to organise a second referendum that a fully informed populace can then make their choice about leaving the EU or getting a new deal. A no deal is off the table because nobody votes for a no deal. It is equivalent to voting for yourself to go to jail. It's the equivalent for voting for yourself to suffer hardship and poverty. No sane, law-abiding, innocent person would vote to be treated like a criminal, because a hard Brexit, a no-deal Brexit, is basically what countries get when they're kicked out of the EU. Okay? Because they've decided to abandon human rights and forget protecting the environment, basically ignore all of the regulations and rights that the EU upholds as a trade union collective that gets the best deal for the citizens of Europe that it can possibly get in this world. And I'm not saying that the EU hasn't got its problems, that there aren't corruptions in there. That's the nature of the world we live in. But let's face it, without the rights that they uphold and the laws that the EU, we the people collectively support, then there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I mean, right now here in Britain, I've been finding out about the United States now has decided to take away all regulations of pesticides and stuff that kill bees, for example. Britain's being asked by America in return for a trade deal, which is a long way down the line because Congress has said they're going to block any trade deal between America and Britain. So, you know, how long that's going to take, I don't know. But part of it is that we abandon all our health and safety regulations on food, for example, and even medicines. Now, in my videos, if you go back over the last couple of years, especially in concern of Brexit and the Tory party and what they've got planned, and all this narrative that Brexit actually got voted in on the strength of was this immigration, the idea that, you know, we've got to stop immigration and we get out of the EU and we stop immigration. Yeah, we'll still get a food deal, we'll still keep the trade, but we just want to stop the immigration, was the general message that people were being given from the Leave campaign. And I made a video explaining to people that, look, do not think for one moment that Brexit is going to stop immigration. Instead, you're going to get the kind of immigration, mass immigration, that corporations, her party, have given these global corporations that are now established in Britain the legal right to bring in as many workers, employees as they like from abroad. Now, I outed this, I think it was last year or even the year before, as a national security threat to the people of Britain, because what you're looking at with the legislation that they've passed, allowing corporations to bring in as many people as they like from abroad, I think the only stipulation is that they are paid over £30,000 a year. So instantly we've got a reversal of the situation where you're getting impoverished workers coming in from the EU who are doing the lowest paid jobs. Instead, it's going to be British people who are doing the lowest paid jobs, and the jobs over 30,000 a year can go to whoever the corporations decide to bring in from anywhere in the world. And I'll leave one of the links to my videos, and you can check the links in that. The global corporate law firms that have been established now in Britain that are established specifically to do all the legalities for any corporation so they can bring in bulk troops from abroad. Now, I sounded the alert last year. I'll leave the video here. You know, people said I was OTD, like, oh no, you know, you're getting into conspiracy theory territory here. No, we are living in conspiracy reality. We are now living in conspiracy reality. That's the fact of it. Okay, these are conspirators. They've been conspiring for decades as how to undo everything that the people of post-World War II established in Britain. How they can take it away from us. Peacefully, you see. And the BBC's been there normalising it all, you know, while 130,000 people are dying. They're having their, you know, have I got news for you programmes on, and all having a jolly old good time of it all. Now we come to the reality, because I warned about DynCorp, a horrible global corporate military that provides services to governments or other corporations. They're up for hire. They're mercenaries. They are allowed to bring in as many troops as they like from abroad. Now, Winston Churchill, he got booted out of power after World War II when he asked Britain's returning soldiers, to train their guns on striking miners. And the soldiers refused. And the establishment was looking at a population armed and trained in combat. And they were having none of it. So they were going to face a revolution then. And we were going to get everything that Attlee delivered. Attlee, who's been buried to the annals of history. Okay. We were going to get that. Either through a revolution, or they were going to back down and let it happen, and then scheme and plot and hack away and attack in every which way they could, until finally they brought in their alleged Iron Lady. And now everything that I said about the risk, the threat to the people, that if ever the government turned its hostility to the British people and the British people rose up, who will be pointing guns at us? Foreign troops. And finally we have it. Finally we have it. I am once again confirmed. Once again I am proven absolutely spot on, right, and nobody listens to me. Nobody takes any notice of me. I feel like I'm living the silent scream. I'm trying to share information with people. Instead, everybody's flocking around. Anybody who's got a Patreon account, like, subscribe, share. Click the Patreon button. Help support my work. You know who supports my work? The children of this planet support my work. Right, because the very fact that they exist is why I do what I do. And that is it. That their welfare is payment enough for me. I'm happy. I live on the very minimal income as a carer. I will gladly live on that if it gives me time to do what I do. And I don't just make videos, believe you me. Yes, I'm a keyboard warrior. What else can we be these days? Am I going to pick up a gun? Am I going to go out stabbing people or bombing them like Netanyahu and Trump and our government? But look what they're doing. With a hard Brexit looming, UK invites 10,000 foreign troops over for military exercises. Foreign troops. We're talking about people who've been shooting, killing people in the Middle East. Do they care anything about the British citizens? If Boris Johnson says go and shoot these protesters, do you think that they're going to say, oh no, we aren't turning our weapons against our own? This is a threat against our national security, that they can invite a foreign army, and they will do it. Please, people, listen to me. Turn off the BBC News. They are a comic strip. We are facing an existential threat. We are facing a return back to Victorian Britain. Go and have a look at it. Except you'll be wearing your 21st century clothes, whatever you've got left, and they will be killing you with 21st century weapons this time. And controlling you with 21st century technology, like 5G, that they're covertly installing in every town and city throughout Britain. Check it out. I will leave you the link. These things are serious and they're dangerous, and I am sick of the trivialisation of it all. And instead we're all going around wondering whether Boris Johnson will obey the Supreme Court. What? The very fact that we are at that point where we're wondering if Boris Johnson will obey the Supreme Court, and even if the Supreme Court will uphold the Scottish ruling, we are even not sure about it. What? Where are we? Where is our planet? And all these people can say, these global corporations now, is, oh, there's too many people. Go back through history. Check it out, people. Know your history. They have been complaining about there being too many people for centuries. There's always too many people for them, for their liking, for their fears that any moment we might rise up and see sense and sanity. The only thing that there's too many of in this world are corporations with too much money, financiers with too much power, people sailing on their ego trips. And now they're flocking around the Zionists, the supreme supremacists, SS, all the fascists of the world, calling themselves Muslims, Tories, Christians, Jews. But we know what they are. And the good people of every faith, of every culture, of every politic, the good people are waking up to the huge con we've all been living under, this strategy of divide and rule that goes back to ancient Rome, from the wolf pack and the wolf pack tier of society that they uphold. Well, I'm here to tell everybody, you're not a dog. You're a human being, and it is time we started living one. The people in this country, in Britain, who've been killed by austerity, they didn't even die in dignity. Even robbed of their dignity. That is a human right to dignity. They died on the streets. They died in filth, in squalor. Exactly everything that men like my grandfather gave their lives and sought to prevent. That was never going to happen in Britain again. And we are facing martial law. This is what they will bring in. Martial law. Okay? Straight after Brexit. Do not expect there to be any elections. This will go on indefinitely. We're dealing with a party, a government, an alleged government, actually a criminal cabal. Let's call them for what they are. A criminal cabal. Have taken over. They want to turn Britain into a corporate farm. They've turned around and said that they have no obligation to feed us, to feed the people. No duty to secure food supplies. No legal responsibility for securing your food supplies.
Boris Johnson is trying to hoodwink the British people with this announcement of 1.8 billion for the NHS. He wants you to stop remembering the big red bus he rode about in this country on in 2016, which promised over £18 billion extra a year for the...
His big red bus. He's about to throw us all under it. And the people who voted Brexit, you were lied to. You know it. I'm a Remainer Now group says it all, doesn't it? The people that were conned, that were targeted by Cambridge Analytica, victims of a criminal attack against their privacy and data protection. And now here they are with a hard Brexit looming. UK invites 10,000 foreign troops over for military exercises. The UK government's martial law option for Brexit would allow government ministers to impose curfews and travel bans, confiscate private property and deploy the armed forces to any UK location of their choosing. Well, they had all this initially set up for March, didn't they? Until she got her marching orders. Now we have Boris Johnson. Have these all gone away? No, they haven't. Is Boris Johnson just picking up exactly where she left off? Yes, he is. Except now he's come right out and said, no, we're just going to have a hard Brexit. We're going to throw ourselves out of the EU. Because that's what sane, intelligent, responsible people do, isn't it? We literally give up our homes, all our rights, everything, throw ourselves in a jail cell, say, please feed us bread and water. That's the madness. That's the level of madness. And I have to live in this society and listen to people going about their trivialities when we are in the middle of a war. This is a war. This is global warfare. It's not being fought with bombs and bullets yet here in Europe. And actually, we need to make sure that it is never. But they will if they can split us up. If they can split the EU and have every little country fighting for itself, eventually all the wars again will spring up. We'll be right back into World War III. Mass cull. That's their plan. Unleash epidemics. Madness. Sorry, no. We have not been through centuries and centuries and centuries of suffering under these criminal corporations that, began with colonisation. David Cameron's family made all their money, what was it? From selling opium, the opium trade, enslaving people to addiction. They're still there now, feeding off the blood of the people they killed centuries ago, still to this day. Is what has paid for their schools, their houses that still stand, while our homes, where are they? Where's our working class history? Where's any evidence of it? And yet very recently the BBC has made a documentary worshipping Margaret Thatcher. Apparently she revolutionised Britain. No, she didn't. She stole back everything that we fought for and won, and she took it back. She stamped on it. She said it's not yours. She stole it from us. All our nationalised industries, our services, our public properties, and to this very day, finally, the NHS is there on its last legs, about to be sold off and gobbled up by the corporate monster that wants to lodge its feet in Britain now and from here attack the whole of the EU. Because we're dealing with monsters. She's a monster, understand it. The BBC News is controlled by monsters who serve monsters. Because that is all they know. They do not know any better. They do not want to know any solution that does not involve killing people and robbing them. Because that is the only thing that keeps them in power. So any solution that actually looks after people, so you want to bring the world population down, try education, try social care, try universal health care, try giving women their rights. Try making contraception freely available. Birth rates plummet. Which countries have the highest birth rates? The countries where women have no rights, children have no rights, men actually have no rights, and there's no contraception, and living standards are below the poverty level of what people recognise as poverty in a country like Britain. You don't need to be a mathematician to know that these people are crazy. We've got 3 nuclear melt-throughs going on. They need to be sorted out. That's got to be a priority that every country on our planet is going to need to address this now. Not all fighting about who's going to eat the last remnants of our planet and profit from it. So they can all scurry away into their bunkers, foolishly believing that they can survive the very apocalypse that they visited on every nation on our planet with their colonialism. We have been through centuries and centuries, and Jesus came to save us. Jesus, an intelligent guy. I don't care whether you believe in God or not. The universe created us. As far as I'm concerned, then the universe is God. And it is intelligent. It's intelligent enough to create an intelligent species. And we are not living with any level of intelligence because this lot, psychopaths, don't understand compassion. They believe that compassion and kindness and caring makes you weak. You see, they believe that all of those things are a sign that you're of low intelligence. For centuries, they believe that any man that has a heart, has compassion, is effeminate. Because apparently it is only women who feel compassion. If you're a male and you feel compassion, well, you must be gay. All of these things, lies, absolute lies, in every man's chest, as Bob Marley said. There beats a heart. And it is time for the fathers now to stand up. The fathers, the real dads, because this system that's governing us, everybody calls a patriarchy. It is not a patriarchy. It is an oligarchy, because a patriarchy runs alongside a matriarchy. One cannot exist without the other. And that's why they attack the matriarchy. Because they know damn well, if there's no matriarchy, there can be no patriarchy. And what takes its place is the oligarchy that has been ruling our planet, most of the nations on our planet, since they murdered Jesus and claimed God asked them to do it. He died to save them from sin. No, they killed him because really they're a set of criminals that belong in jail. They need arresting. And now our very planet itself is on the line. So whose story are we going to buy here? Are you going to listen to people like me, people who've grown up on the ground, who survived the horrors of this world? I survived 17 years of child abuse, of degradation, of judgments against me, of attack. I've experienced what people call a supernatural event. To me, it's a universal event. Quantum energy is a fact. It's as real as the radiation right now spewing out of Fukushima. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't touch it, but you know it's real. And it's the same with the quantum energy, higher consciousness that created us. And we were not created in order to be all killed off to sustain a set of what amounts to vampires. And that's why people like me are oppressed, people that know the light. The intelligence there to guide us, the shining ones among humanity, have been, through every century, oppressed and silenced. And that's why they have to cover themselves in their material gold and their shiny stones to convince you that, no, we're the shining ones. Look at us, look at Trump in all his golden, shining glory. Well, that gold does not live. The solid yellow metal does not live. And actually, it contributes very little to supporting life. The vast majority of it is hoarded in bankers' vaults, there to gobble up whatever remnants there are of any wealth in society. The minute the bankers start talking about a collapse, suddenly gold's there. $2,000 an ounce, there, everybody pouring whatever money pools are in society to pour into this dead, useless metal. And at the end of the day, that what will be left on this earth except their piles of gold. And here we are. Confiscate private property. You see, this was from March 22nd. They've gone very quiet about it, but Boris Johnson is going to do this. Okay, this is coming, people. This is coming. And it won't be our own troops. I tell you, 10,000, that was the first round. How many has Boris Johnson been inviting in? And I want to know what Britain's military, top brass who are all there pallying around, Mr. Vampire himself, Boris Johnson, what are you doing to protect our nation from this foreign invasion of corporate troops? What right have any corporate troops got to be on our soil, being hired by our government? How is that not a threat, a national security threat against Britain? Having in troops from abroad. Coming from where? Were they serving as part of ISIS before? Doing undercover ops? Because we know that has been going on. We know that these corporations have been training ISIS. Even arming them covertly. Now they're going to be on our streets pointing guns at us so that we swallow this criminal attack against us, this terrorist attack from our government, that finally we're back to World War II and you're back to your military state before, as it always was before, any uprisings among the people, you get your troops out and they go out and shoot the people. I'm deeply, deeply disturbed. There is a way forward. We need Jeremy Corbyn. That's the fact of it. We need to arrest criminals. This idea that we can be in doubt as to whether the Supreme Court will uphold the law, as whether we can be in doubt as to whether the government will abide by the law. That's the point. That's the point that calls for revolt. That's the point that we expect, that we need the civil service now to stand up and put down tools and say, no, this is a coup, call it for what it is. The military, the police of Britain, you're either going to stand with the people or you're going to stand with the corporate vampires. It is your choice. And our lives are dependent. The rest, every man, woman and child in this country is dependent on you people now of where you are going to stand. You are either going to stand and witness the breakup of our United Kingdom, that the people, stripped of their rights, under a government that even is going to let them starve, you're going to watch this country become, as it were, in the 1700s, 1800s with enclosures. You're going to watch people starve. You're going to be killing people for hunting a rabbit. The equivalent of, are you going to do it, British soldiers? Are you going to be there to shoot your own people at the behest of this set of criminals? Well, no, because the corporate army's there. Are they going to be training their guns on you, British soldiers? I cannot stress enough. We are at the point of civil war. And as I say, we are in the middle of a civil war. It is a war that does not need to be fought by bombs and bullets. Because, the enlightened ones, the people understand, the people of intelligence, of care and compassion, that is a true signifier of intelligence. That's how you know. If somebody is truly intelligent, do they live with care and compassion? Are they a compassionate person? That's all you need to know. Because every compassionate person will stand up for universal law. That we live in abundance, that we uphold our human rights. That's all you need to know. Otherwise, we're lost. Because I'll tell you one thing, The Scottish people are not going to take this. The Scottish people are not going to take this. So we are going to lose Scotland. Ireland, we are going to lose Ireland. This is an attack against our United Kingdom. And look how much suffering and how many wars over time it took to get the United Kingdom. And now we've got it, and they've come to take it away and set up their little despot, evil tax haven. And the people are serfs who they even don't have an obligation to feed. So what is the government there for then? What is the leadership there for, if not to ensure that there is a society, a functioning society that people can eat and work and actually live in? Or is the government there as a slave master? Because that is where we're at right now. We are enslaved. This is slavery, when the government itself cannot be trusted to uphold the law or abide by it. When we're even having a doubt as to whether our Supreme Court will uphold the law. It's your choice, Britain. It's your choice. Carry on with your petty divisions, your hating each other for this and that, your judgments, you whatever. Carry on. You will get what you deserve. Okay? So you either stand up for your rights or you just lay down and die for the corporation.